Today, Pakistan have announced their squad for the upcoming New Zealand series, which starts on the 18th of April. The squad you can see on screen. So there's a few of the players I want to talk about. So the first player is Usman Khan, who this will be his, if he gets selected in the team, he'll be his debut, and he's been selected purely off his recent PSL performances, where in 7 innings he averaged 107, strikes at 164 with 200s and 250s, and he's been batting around the number 4 place, which at the moment really is Fakhar Zaman. He's been batting at number 4, and his PSL stats were poor this year, only averaging 19 and striking at 115. But just before the PSL, he was playing against New Zealand in New Zealand, and in those 5 games, he did average 25 and strike at 165. So it's been a bit up and down, but obviously the most recent performances haven't been the best. With Usman Khan, the 200s he got were at number 3, but unfortunately in this team he won't be able to play at number 3. With Samayu, Babar Azam, and Rizwan top 3, I think it's pretty secure. Maybe Babar Rizwan might swap around if possible, maybe, but I think it's a pretty settled that will be the top 4. Another new player, Irfan Khan. So in this PSL, he offers 9 innings, he averages 43 and strikes at 140. And his just general stats, he's only played 9 innings in this PSL, and this obviously he's had some good performances, good stats. But just a general overview, he's played 34 matches, T20 matches, and he averages 26 and he strikes at 136. And he bats around the 5 and 6 position, which, to be honest, at the moment are Azam Khan and Iftikhar's batting positions. And I think Iftikhar's pretty set in the team at the moment. Azam Khan, he's only played 8 matches, averages 5. In international, that's for international for Pakistan, and so he hasn't had the best start, but he's been unfortunate with the games he's played. He's played 2 games, then dropped a series, then played, played a game or 2, then dropped. So he's been very unfortunate. He's not really had that consistent chance of like 4, 5, 6 games continuous, but he will be very in. One thing people are forgetting, obviously, everyone talks about his fitness. Internationally, if you look at the stats, if you look, 8 matches, 5 average, you're not going to be impressed. But if you look in the specific conditions, which are very important, in the last 2 years, in the final 5 overs, he strikes at 12.5 and over in the last 2 years, in the final 5 overs, and also has a 36% boundary percentage in the last 5 overs, and that's the best in the whole world. So I think he'll be given like first choice, especially at number 5, because at Irfan he was batting at 5, and so I think he won't be in the team like for the first game. So obviously he's another debut player, and to be honest, I wouldn't have personally even picked him in the team, because we've had Mohammad Haris, who's been playing for Pakistan over the last few years. He's had some good performances. His obviously type of cricket that he plays is very high risk, so you're not going to get that consistent 43 average like Irfan Khan. You're not going to get that. But what you're going to get is impact, high impact performances. Not every game, but if you look at for example, his PSL stats, obviously with the recent PSL, the selectors, Wahab Riaz, Muhammad Yusuf, Abdul Razak, Asad Shafiq, obviously and with the chairman, they've been looking at obviously the PSL has just being completed, so obviously that's the stats they've been looking at. Mohammad Haris had played 10 innings, only averaged 16 and was striking at 132. But his T20 strike rate is at 145. But if you just break down the last 7 performances, this is the latest performance, so it's the last game in the PSL, he scored 40 from 25, which was a strike rate of 160. And then he scored a 22 from 14, which was striking at 157. And then he had a failure, he only scored 13 from 11 for the previous game. Then he scored 20 from 13, which is striking at 154. Then he did score 1 out, 2 out, and then the game before he scored 12 not out from 5. So even when he scores that 20, if he scores anywhere over 20 runs, it's always at a really good rate. So even if it's a 20, 25, he's going to be striking at 150, 140, 150, 160. So that's why I definitely would have picked him, and especially in a World Cup. You got a short amount. It's not a long. It's a short amount. It's a short tournament. there's not that many games. You haven't got time to sort of get in, have, they don't give you, it's not like 7, 8 games and you get a chance, if you have a few bad performances, you're going to get, you're going to get put to the side. And one thing, if you look at the previous World Cup, it was the T20 World Cup in 2022, Shan Masood was our highest, we got to the final in that World Cup, and Shan Masood was our highest run scorer, and that he was the highest run scorer for Pakistan, and in the list of the whole tournament, he was number 14. Virat Kohli was number 1, he was number 14, and Pakistan got to the final. So that shows in tournaments, in like especially T20 tournaments, the way the format is, you need to look at more impact players like Azam Khan, for example, Iftikhar, and Mohammad Haris, who unfortunately hasn't been put in the squad. He was rested, they said, for the last series against New Zealand, and I know he hasn't had the best tournament in the PSL, but definitely would have picked him over Irfan Khan. And one other thing about Mohammad Haris I forgot to mention is that he can bat from number 1 down to like 6, 7. He can bat any position. He can open, he can finish, coming right at the end, coming at the last few overs. He can even bat at 3. If you remember the game against South Africa when he came in, Babar Rizwan opened, I believe, and then he came in early. Babar Azam, there was a podcast where Mohammad Haris was talking about it, and he came in at number. Babar Azam made a gesture, say, bring in Mohammad Haris, and he played like a really good innings. So that's the thoughts on the squad. Overall, it's pretty good. No like too big surprises. It's pretty consistent. You can see it on the screen. No big. Obviously, we've got the other player. Sorry, Mohammad Amir. I forgot to speak about. So. Obviously, again, about the PSL, I like to give a bit of stats. He's 9 matches and he only took 10 wickets, but he is extremely experienced generally, but also in the CPL. He's played 29 CPL games and 43 wickets, and he averages 14. So every 14 runs, he's taken a wicket, and that's the best average for any bowler with over 20 wickets in the CPL. And I was watching one videos from Cricket with Nick, I believe, and he was saying he watches CPL consistently. He's saying Mohammad Amir can bowl up to 3 overs in the power play, obviously because he swings the ball. The conditions suit him and his team that he plays for. They'd bowl him 3 overs in the power play, and with that he still has an economy of 6.5 in the power play. That's incredible to bowling in the first 6 overs with only the 2 fielders allowed outside the circle, and he's going at 6.5 is really good. And obviously we had Haris Rauf. He's not in the squad. He's injured, for example. But generally around the squad there isn't too much to be. I think I'm not too displeased overall. It's okay. There's not too much to. One thing I probably do want to mention. So I was watching the press conference. I watched it, and in the press conference, Mohammad Yusuf accidentally announced that Gary Kirsten's Pakistan's coach, and they haven't announced it. No one spoke about it openly. There's been no open communication directly from the PCB. There'll be loads of journalists and news articles about it's going to be Gary Kirsten, but no confirmation. And he's accidentally brought out that it's going to be Gary Kirsten. So I think it's pretty much confirmed. More than likely, obviously, Gary Kirsten is currently coaching the IPL for Gujarat Titans. So obviously, after that, I don't think his team's doing too well. I think they're 7th at the moment. So hopefully, as soon as he's done with that assignment, he'll be, I'm assuming, with the Pakistan. He'll be I believe the Pakistan are looking to do the split coaching. So he'll be the white ball coach, and the red ball coach will be someone else. Apparently, maybe Jason Gillespie, but that's not really been confirmed. But yeah, good. Make sure you give your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you later.